Hello and welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining me. I'm Richard Vobes. Now, are you enjoying the weather? It's lovely, isn't it? Isn't it lovely? Lovely weather. We had 2 days of sunshine in January. 2 days. It was a little bit of a crisp, almost a frost, I would say, down here on the south coast. Now, I don't know what it's like on the other parts of the country because obviously I'm not there in the UK or in Britain or in England or in whatever this landmass is that we seem to find ourselves on. And I've made videos in the past where I've been traipsing around the countryside with my camera as the Bald Explorer. You may have seen them pop up on your feed, or you may not have bothered to look at them. And I've been out in January many times, enjoying walking in the countryside. And during the January period, yes, there's a bit of rain, and yes, there's a bit of cloud cover, but I've never seen anything quite like what we have seen recently. And of course, you mention chemtrails to somebody, or geoengineering, and people sort of roll their eyes and say it's all a load of old nonsense. But I don't know that that is the case all the time. I think people are slowly beginning to become more and more aware that there is something going on, and it's nefarious as ever. I had an email this morning, somebody who has been tracking this stuff for a while, and he says in his email, this is from somebody called Alexandra, he says, keep up the good content on YouTube. Couldn't sleep and looked on flight radar, and glad I did. Kind of unusual flight they're having. But then we must remember, chemtrails do not exist. Yeah, that's right. That's the message that we're told, isn't it? That chemtrails do not exist. Well, he very kindly shared some of the screenshots that he had where he was. And I don't know whether you're one of these people who use the flight radar things or any of this sort of stuff, but it's always worth having a little look. Let's have a look, see what he's got here. So here is one example. Now, the green is the trailing up and down of the flight path. You can see a little yellow aeroplane there. He sent several of these. So let me just put another one on the screen. Here's one here, very similar. And you can see the flight path. It goes round, up and down, up and down. Now, I believe that this was in the middle of the night, as he said he couldn't sleep. So let's have a look at another one. I put that next to it. And we can see that that's the other end of it. And it's just going up, and as if mowing the lawn, which is extraordinary, is it not? And let's have a look, another one here. And then eventually, after some time, now, if you look at the details there, it tells you what flight and the duration and all of that. Up and down, up and down. And then he pisses off, basically, and he zips somewhere else. Now, that is an extraordinary thing, isn't it, to do, just to come out and go up and down like that, a little bit of mowing the lawn over one particular area. And then go back. Is he doing? Is it a pleasure flights? Do you suppose? Is it pleasure flights? He's just taking somebody out, in the middle of the night. Oh, come and have a look. Is it sightseeing? Up and down, like that, or is it crop spraying? Is it crop spraying? You've got to get all those nasty pesticides off, or pests with our pesticides off the crops. Yeah, it must be. Could it be that in the middle of the night? Or is it something a little bit more nefarious? There's it's very unusual. Maybe he's photographing the ground, because they've got air raids coming in. Because oh no, we're not during the Second World War, are we? Silly me. We're not in that period when the Luftwaffe came over with their reconnaissance aircraft and started photographing the land. In fact, I don't know whether you've actually gone over there and seen some of that. I believe it's on Google now, that you can look at some of those brilliant pictures. I mean, well done to those German photographers in those planes during that period of the war. You can see how much countryside there was, how much growth there was, how pleasant the world was. Whereas certainly over in England back then, when they were sort of monitoring where the sites of where they might come and bomb. Beautiful pictures, beautiful photographs showing the swathes of countryside before we ruined it after the 1940s, when we started to build all these awful silos. Concentration camp. No, wait a minute. What are they? Homes. Yes, that's right. Homes. These new builds, these rabbit hutches all over the place in effectively 15-minute cities of the future without the razor wire. That's what it seems to me is what we've been building with a big supermarket very close by. Yes. And in order to make sure that you don't want to go out and do anything interesting and that you've got nowhere to play, the kids have to stay in and watch screens rather than run around, climb trees, build camps, all that kind of stuff, muck about in the river and in the streams, catching newts and all the things that, I used to do when I was a kid. No, what we'll do is we'll make the weather dull as ditch water. We'll make it cold. We'll make it rain. And in January, we'll give you 2 days of sunshine, just so that, the dimbos out there go, oh, no, it must be all right. What do you mean? Chemtrails? Oh, no, look, it's sunny today. Can't be true. Not a trail in the sky. I don't know what you're talking about. And the rest of the time, it's so blanket now, you can't see anything. You can't even see the chemtrails. Although I did start to see towards the end of yesterday a few of them going by. And, there it is. So what do you make of that, ladies and gentlemen? Are you somebody who's still skeptical about the chemtrails, or can you see it? And do you know people who can't see it? There just seems to be so many people there who really cannot see it. This man-made global warming myth, when they start to say, oh yeah, well, the reason we're doing that is to, stop the sun from coming in. Yeah? Why are you doing that? Well, to stop the planet from warming up. The planet is not warming up as a result of man-made global stuff. This green agenda stuff, the net zero stuff, this is all to be to the detriment of you and I. We know that. We know it, don't we? We've got to block off the sunshine and all this sort of stuff. Why we haven't just turned around and said, no, do you know what? I'm so sick of this. I'm just going to go in and hoik you all out by the collar and throw you in a skip and just ditch you in the middle of the sea somewhere. Quite why we haven't done this with all those people espousing any of this rubbish, I don't know. Not that I'm sort of suggesting violence or anything like that, because that would not be a good thing. But we, at some point, the population has got to sort of wake up to this nonsense and say, look, hang on a minute, this is the future for our children. Do we really want to live in this weird and nasty future? Do we really want that? I don't think we do. No, we've got to keep calling this out. We've got to keep letting people know. We've got to keep waking them up. What good it will do when they wake up is they'll just probably shrug their shoulders and go, oh yeah, chemtrails. And that's it. That does seem to be the way, isn't it? There's a lot of us who are awake, and what are we doing about it? Some of us are making videos, and some of us are talking in pubs, and some of us are meeting in little small groups. But what actually is happening? It's like so much of this that's going on in the freedom movement at the moment. We all know about it, and we go, oh yeah, chemtrails, oh yeah, fiat currency, oh yeah, they're trying to poison the water, oh yeah. It's like nothing actually gets done. It's very frustrating. I don't know what we can do. We can shake our fists. There's no point going and protesting and pleading with the government. That doesn't work. At some point, something has actually got to be done. We've either got to oust these people physically ourselves, or we've just got to set up alternatives. I don't know how we can afford to do that when they're sort of dealing with the currency, controlling the currency. Maybe we've got to create our own currency. And I know a lot of people are trying to do that. There are these saviors out there who will make all the motions and say they're going to do this and do that, but will they? And have we got time? Or should we just take back the responsibility ourselves, we the people, get on and do what we think is absolutely right, and not wait for somebody else who may or may not be a savior, may or may not do good things, may or may not, who knows? But we can at least, at the end of the day, you can rely on yourself, hopefully, can you not? Anyway, there we are, a bit of chemtrails. Big thank you to everybody who is supporting the channel. I appreciate that. Sorry there's not as many, barely any now, interviews. I do appreciate that. I'm working on a book which will be coming out fairly soon, which I hope has a few solutions in it that people may or may not enjoy. It's entirely up to you, but I do need the time to do that. Don't forget the forum if you want to have your debate and say on things other than, being struck off on the YouTube comments, which often happens. People email me all the time saying, Richard, I left a comment, but it didn't show up. Yes, I know. This it's out of my control. I'm really sorry about that. It's awful. But you can join the forum and be part of that, be part of a conversation in private, which is quite good, isn't it? And yes, thanks to everyone who's donated and kept the show afloat. Really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves. And yes, if you get any interesting web pages, not videos. People continually send me videos. I don't have time at the moment to watch the videos. But if you've got interesting, maybe all the stuff is in the videos and they're not on web pages. But if you do see some interesting things you think ought to be shared and it's on a web page, on a URL that you can send me, I'd be very interested in sharing that, of course. And in the meantime, look after yourself, take care, and thank you for watching.